Welcome to the GTN Show, hot off the IRONMAN World Champs.
Yeah, in case you missed some of that action, we will quickly run through some of the excitement from this weekend's race, plus some extra updates and insights.
And then we immediately look ahead to the T100 Ibiza happening this weekend, plus the T100 have announced their 2025 schedule.
Yeah, and we also spotted a new triathlon bike from Ventum.
And some controversy in the world of trail running and Wikipedia.
All right, well, a lot has happened in the past week, and that's before we even get onto the IRONMAN World Championships. So run through a couple of things that we have spotted. First off, did you see that Jakob Ingebrigsten, famously kind of a track athlete over the sort of the 1500 3K distance, ran a half marathon?
Yeah, paced it like a track athlete too.
He went out the first 10K in 27:27, which is actually a Norwegian 10K record. And then, as expected, kind of faded and I believe stopped a number of times, but still finished in a 63:13 to finish 34th overall in the Copenhagen half marathon.
Yeah, woo, really needs to work on the pacing.
I know, but wow. I mean, fair play to him. He said, my deepest respect to all you long distance runners. There's a few posts from him, just absolutely, ruined after that.
Yeah. We also noticed this from Rachel Zilinskas, who at the IRONMAN World Championships, she's given a thumbs up, but clearly a broken clavicle and a broken heart. She says, after chaotic swim, didn't get the chance to fasten my shoes until after 10 Ks into the bike. I bent down to secure the strap, hit a rock or bump in the road I didn't see and went down hard. She said she tried to keep going but could feel her clavicle moving around in her shoulder. Yeah, that's when you know it's time to stop. Yeah, brutal way to end your World Championship.
I have actually done that myself, mountain biking before, and jumped back on. You kind of had that adrenaline, and then you're like, something's a bit weird here. Yeah. Also, Lisa Charles-Barclay, obviously absolutely gutted that she wasn't racing at the weekend. We'll get on to all of this very shortly. But pretty much the next day after the race happened, she's posting up that she was in a cryo chamber in Nice, so getting that recovery in pretty quickly.
No word on whether she'll be at the T100 this weekend. I'm assuming not. Then we noticed this from Victory Multisport, and they were at IRONMAN Maryland, where it looks like the tide came in a bit on the run.
Apparently this is a known issue. It's happened a few years running now.
I mean, that is bad. They were running through like 2 feet of water, wading through 2 feet of water.
The cones, I believe, are almost like floating away.
Can't even tell where the course goes.
Oh my God.
That's pretty bad. And then one more thing we noticed this week on the internet was this controversy with Camille Herron. Did you see this, Mark?
I did actually spot it. I mean, Camille is a very accomplished ultra runner. I believe she's got 12 ultra running world records to her name.
Yeah, but her and her husband have found themselves in the middle of a bit of a controversy on Wikipedia because it seems that there were some edits made to other ultra runners' pages. Yeah, quite a few over the years.
Thousands.
The edits have been traced back to Herron's email and Holt's IP address, so they know it was them. Apparently, they have been adjusting these things for a long time using a Wikipedia account, Tempo Run 70.3, but that was then banned in February 2024 because of basically being a conflict of interest. And they immediately started a new one called Rund Bowie, who has been adjusting these posts and pages for everyone else. One of the most contentious actions was removing statements like widely justified as one of the world's best trail runners from pages of Kilian Jornet and Courtney Dauwalter.
Well, you know how I feel about this.
Well, yeah, we know how much you've the one been editing Kilian Jornet's Wikipedia page. Yeah, but then simultaneously they've been adding that to her own one. So they said we need to remove the puffery because it's only about facts on Wikipedia. So we're removing this. And then simultaneously put it on Camille Herron's own one. The Global Organization of Multi-Day Marathoners president said, in my 46 years of ultra running, I've never seen anyone as talented as Camille, who is so dedicated to creating division and animosity within the ultra running community. Unfortunately, the Wikipedia story is part of a pattern of interference. The couple has a history of trying to disrupt athletes, their reputations, races, and performances by citing world athletics rules that do not apply to ultra running and multi-day running. Really unsportsmanlike behaviour.
Yeah, yet to see a post from Camille sort of addressing this, and I believe the article that came from Running Magazine in the Canadian Running Magazine did reach out to her, but
got no comment.
Yeah. Well, now on to the Tri News, and first off, let's talk about the IRONMAN World Championships. Now, we did do a full race recap that you can find on our channel, where we basically followed the race throughout the day. You can watch that now.
Yeah, but if you did miss it, here's your top 5. Laura Philipp taking the win ahead of Kat Matthews in second. Chelsea Sodaro in third. Marjolaine Pierre, they were saying on the announcement. We need to learn how to pronounce her name. And Nikki Bartlett in fifth. Bit frustrating to see Anne Haug not there. I think it would have been quite the run battle if she'd come off a few minutes behind those lead two ladies, Kat Matthews and Laura Philipp. Them having a head-to-head battle with Anne Haug running up from behind would have been absolutely amazing. Taken up by a puncture 200 metres into the race, unfortunately. And it sounds like neutral service had gone behind the leaders and then gone again behind the next group.
I think the problem is it doesn't...
She was 200 metres away from transition, too far to run back to transition, and just caught in no man's land with no
I think from what I understand, the neutral service almost starts from about 5k up the course, and they couldn't come back down. And so she was, she said,
literally in no man's land before you get past the neutral service car and they're behind you. Yeah, very frustrating. Anyway, exciting racing.
Still, a phenomenal race, and the battle between Laura Philipp and Kat Matthews, both on the bike and also the run, was something else.
Yeah, what we didn't cover in our race recap, because it was still happening when we did our race recap, was the age group racing.
Absolutely phenomenal time. So the actual fastest age group on the day was Leah Riccoboni, who had a time of 9:54.07. But we've also plucked out some of the fastest splits of the day too.
Yeah, like Catherine Breed, who swam 49:22, which was the 7th fastest swim of the day, including the pros.
We also had Joanna Soltsiak-Rebak, who was second overall within the age group field, but had a 5:34.27 bike split.
Fine. Yeah, and Samantha Scold, who was 5th overall in the age groupers, with a 2:59.25 marathon split, which is also the 7th overall, including the pros.
That's absolutely mind-blowing, those splits.
Obviously, age groupers champions were crowned in all 11 age groups, so congratulations to all of them and everyone else who finished on the day. We got quite a few stories while we were standing on the sidelines and after the race of people, how their race had gone in their varying experiences. We had some who were like absolutely amazing, and some were like, well, that's one and done for me. I'm never going back to that race.
Awesome. Quickly back to the pro racing, because obviously this result from the weekend for a lot of the pros will significantly impact the Ironman Pro Series rankings, which we're getting to the close of rounding out the year, the series, and there's a lot at stake.
Yeah, I think there's one more Pro Series race and the 70.3 World Champs to finalise the points. At the moment, Jackie Herring is still in the lead, but I believe she's counted one more race than now second place, which is Kat Matthews. So it kind of is going Kat Matthews' way. If she just has a half-decent result at the 70.3 World Championships, she's pretty much a shoo-in for the winner of the Ironman Pro Series.
And that's $200,000?
$200,000 bonus, that's significant.
All right. Nice.
We'll be watching that closely. Meanwhile, Ironman have announced their Pro Series will continue in 2025. A few changes to some of the locations of those pro races. There will be 6 full distances, 8 70.3 distances included in that, and your top 5 scoring races count. A maximum of 3 of those can be the full distance. Obviously, getting more points for full.
They've announced 7 new venues for the 2025 calendar. So we've got Ironman 70.3 Geelong, we've got Ironman South Africa, we've got Ironman 70.3 World Championships, which is obviously going to be in Marbella. But in addition to that, in Europe, we've also got Ironman 70.3 Venice Jesolo, Aix-en-Provence, and also Ironman 70.3 Swansea. And then also a new stop over in Maryland, we've got Ironman 70.3 Eagleman.
And that's all in competition for $6 million in prize money, including a $1.7 million US dollar bonus at the end of the series, which is obviously what Kat Matthews is going for this year in 2024. Meanwhile, the T100 have announced their schedule. for 2025. Pretty much the same week. I don't know whether it was reactionary. Surely not, because they got a lot of ducks to get in a row to actually make this announcement. They've announced a new schedule. The only major change to the series being that Miami is not there anymore. They've replaced Miami with a race on the French Riviera, although the location of that is yet to be announced. So,
any guesses?
Cozumel?
That would be a good venue, wouldn't it?
Yeah, possibly. Maybe Nice. Maybe they're just going to go. Maybe they're just going to go Nice. We don't really know. But it will be on the French Riviera instead of Miami. That means that the races that are coming up in 2025 will be Singapore T100, the French Riviera T100 replacing Miami, San Francisco T100 London, Ibiza, which is coming up this weekend for this year, Lake Las Vegas again, and then Dubai T100 in November. More races to be announced, it says. Not another race to be announced. More races, so maybe more than 8 next year, possibly.
Maybe. Yeah. You mentioned Ibiza. Obviously, that is coming up this weekend, and they have also announced the wild cards for that event.
They have. Kasper Stepniak is going to be a wild card there. Also, Josh Amberger, who was there supporting Ashley Gentle getting ready for the race, and apparently was supposed to fly off to the other side of the world to do another event, and decided, no, I'll just stay around because he's got a golden ticket for it. And Maximilian Spell will also be a wild card for that race. Definitely going to be exciting racing. And of course, we've been watching the women's race closely because a few of them have raced the IRONMAN World Champs just 6 days earlier. And Hug, though, has kept a bit of her powder dry.
Yeah, I mean, actually, could work out quite well. She could be winning
that one, yep. That's time for What the Tech. And we noticed this, that Giant has taken over Stages. Now, apparently, Stages actually ceased all operations in April and laid off all its staff. Meanwhile, they were actually being sued by Giant over unpaid invoices amounting to like 11 million or something. There was also rumors that a few of the top executives from Stages had been immediately hired by Giant. And now it's official, Giant has acquired Stages, all their assets and their brand. So from now on, it will fall under the Giant brand, which I guess is good for anyone who was riding at Stages power meter.
Yeah, because they were affordable power meters, weren't they? I'm sure everyone has their opinions on reliability of every power meter, but they were affordable power meters, so it's great to see that tech is still going to be out there and available. And
possibly too affordable, though, that they weren't paying the invoices.
Also, did you spot this? Lezyne gold-plated pump.
Right, speaking about affordable.
Is it going to make you faster on a bicycle? Probably not. Is it going to burn a pretty big hole in your pocket?
Yeah, £120, $160 for a gold-plated pump, because that's what you need.
It's an 18-carat gold-plated floor pump, for £120 or 160 US dollars. Apparently, it's a professional-grade floor pump as well as being gold-plated.
On today's list of things you didn't need. Right, also, Ventum have a new bike. Now, this has been spotted in the wild a few times under Jackson Laundry, and now this weekend when Lauren Brandon was riding it. Ventum themselves haven't actually announced, haven't done a press release.
Yeah, they've put up a post on their Instagram, and you can see it's a new bike, but you can't quite see all the details. Jackson actually put up a story on his Instagram a few weeks back, I believe it was, and a few people grabbed it and spotted it.
Done away with their Ventum signature beam bike thingy. It's now a traditional double diamond frame with really wide stance forks and really wide stance
almost like
chain
track bike-esque wide stance forks and rear stays, which the reason they do it on the track is because they're more or less going sort of, in a straight line, or not having the wind variation and the variables out there to deal with.
Angle.
Yeah, so interesting to see how that bike would handle.
But Ventum says it's fast. In fact, Jackson Laundry broke the bike record at Ironman 70.3 Michigan with a 1:55.55 bike split on that new bike. So maybe it is fast. As we say, we haven't actually got hands on it yet, so we can't tell you any more than that. But
excited to see it. Well, now on to the racing news, and the IRONMAN World Champs wasn't the only big race this weekend. We had a lot of pro racing actually happening, including the European Triathlon Championships, Olympic distance.
Yep, where Vicky Holland took the European title. On her way back from motherhood, she's, she's been a bit up and down, but she's finally got a title, which is
I believe this is
result.
one of the big titles she didn't have to her name. She's had a World Championship title, an Olympic medal.
Completed it, mate. And second behind her, Leonie Perriot-Alice Beto in third. On the men's side, Songor Lehmann took the European title there, with Janus Seguin in second from France and Casper Stornes from Norway in third.
Yeah, we also had Challenge San Remo this weekend. In the women's race, that was won by Daniela Kleiser, and on the men's side, it was Panagiotis Betados.
Yeah, and then 70.3 Italy, men's only at that one, with Sam Dickinson from Olympic fame/infamy when he stepped off the course. He is now back in racing and took the win there, his first 70.3 win.
Very impressive bike split as well.
Very impressive, yeah. Flying under 2 hours.
Yeah, we also had Ironman 70.3 Cozumel. Lisa Pertera took the win on the women's side and Mark Debrick on the men's side.
We also have other races coming up this weekend other than the T100 in Ibiza. There's a WTCS Weihai in China. It's actually the first time the World Triathlon Championship Series has been in China since 2011 when they had the grand final in Beijing. That's quite a long wait. They had a World Cup in Weihai last year, but not a championship series. And it's going to be pretty exciting because it's this penultimate one before the grand final, which is in Andalusia next month. So all the points up for grabs. Yi versus Wild, another showdown.
Oh, that'd be exciting, wouldn't it?
Definitely worth watching.
Also this weekend, of course, we've got the T100 Ibiza race. We've also got Ironman Chattanooga and Ironman 70.3 Augusta.
So much triathlon racing happening now. Now it's time for Try Spy. Last week we had this image and quite a few guesses of pretty much every triathlete who has long hair was guessed. We had Ruth Austell, we had Paula Findlay, Taylor Knibb again, Josh Amberger, he's never had hair that long, has he? And Jess Learmonth. All wrong, I'm afraid.
But it was Chris Williams who was the first in with Mika Newt.
Yeah, it was Mika Newt. There was quite a few others who got that right. Zelko Kota, Elka Palka, Robert Bachman, Benjamin Brewy, all said Mika Newt. So yeah, the flowing golden locks. We're going to have to do something else now because we've tapped out all the flowing golden locks.
Well, this week, we've got this. Cheesy Grin.
Whose cheesy grin is that?
I'm assuming they're happy, they've had a good performance, or they're grimacing.
What's a grimace? Yeah, maybe. Say what?
All right. Anyone that watched our Ironman World Championship recap video will have spotted a very excited James.
It was the Ironman World Champs.
Exactly.
You're supposed to get excited.
I agree. Chris Lefebvre said, did James have a bit too much coffee? Quite possibly. I mean, it was a long day, but there was a lot to get excited
something
about.
to get going, yeah. But to be honest, I think I was more excited about the World Champs than the coffee. It takes a lot of coffee to get me going, so I'm pretty sure it wasn't the coffee. It was the Ironman World Champs. It was an exciting race. I was happy to be there.
I didn't notice that you were overly excited, but maybe
I think my excitement was just right for the scene.
Maybe the problem was that I didn't have enough coffee that morning, and we didn't balance out well enough. I don't know. So maybe it's my fault. I'm sorry.
Anyway, coming up on the channel later this week, Mark went into the lab to test how accurate his Coros smartwatch is at predicting his VO2 max. And the only way you can actually do that is to test your VO2 max. So, bit of Mark suffering, Mark figuring out what his actual VO2 max is and comparing it. That video coming out later this week on the channel.
Yeah, and as I say, if you haven't watched our Ironman World Championship recap video, you still can do so if you don't already know the results, but if you watch the show, you do already. So anyway, go watch that. It was a fun video to film, and if you enjoyed today's show, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.